Good morning and namaste, everyone. Um, there's a little owl that was still hooting, but there's also a lawnmower that you might be able to pick up. And while I have my nearly finished hot water and my bed is made, as yours, in my space, it's changed a little in configuration. And I wanted to acknowledge that. Even right when we create these pieces of ground, there is still some adapting that we have to do. So ground meaning the general and soft routines that make us feel good. um, and yet, right, we are on an earth, a globe that is tilting. The season is changing slowly over time, maybe imperceptible to the human eye, but every day the sun is rising at a different time, little by little, until we're resting in a place where again it's still always changing and it's moving in another way. So we adapt to those things. Similarly, these lawnmowers that were outside working very hard during these times, also, as I was waking up, it triggered me. So I'm back in Florida where I grew up, and when I was little, my sister and I, like on weekends, would be woken up to the sounds of like the windows open, sounds of lawnmowers and appliances going, and chores that they were doing and that we were about to do. When you just want to sleep in, or whatever, as a kid you wanted to do what you wanted to do, and it triggers you. And I ended up feeling that and realizing, like I was spending a period of my morning on that, living outside of a present experience, touching like all this like accrual over time of why does this affect me as much. It's a nuisance, yeah, presently to hear it, but it's also something that goes way back and doesn't always get released. Which is why I like to consider how I heard this saying once and I really liked it, which is that we compare our insides to people's outsides. We compare our insides to other people's outsides. And I didn't make this up, somebody else did, but I thought it was such a, and I can't remember who, I'm sorry. But that's not me. But I loved it because it felt like, when we look at someone's circumstances, especially on social media and Facebook, like the perceptions that we have of one another, it's easy to be like, well, all that I see is what they have. And yet we forget that concept of people fighting their own battles, or we're also sometimes locked in our minds, in our memories, and it literally can take up memory. And that's where these practices can help to release and liberate us, especially in the morning. It's really nice to go and gather, but in the morning, if you can release and let go and create some space, then you're able to navigate the things that will, um, the good things that will come, and the not good things that will come in every day that we live. So it reminds me to remind myself and all of us that I could spend my time feeling like, why, mom and dad? Like I even felt myself going there. I'm 10 years old and like I just want to sleep in. And yet, sorry, just the computer went to sleep as I had to use my computer this morning. But it's funny, like where we can rest our attention. So we're in these dire circumstances, and yet we're human, and we're living a long time ago in our heads about something. So when you're with your family or on your own, and something, especially in confinement, can trigger you, it is a chance to maybe look at that and sense it, and maybe give it a little bit of space. It's not to say that it might not be valuable or deeply meaningful, but there are these mini things that live inside of us, and I'm not sure if we can ever get rid of them. But where are the things that we want to spend our time and our energy? Time is energy on in our day. We can do this also symbolically today with a simple practice where we'll release in the hands. So over time, we're holding our phones. Our hands are very much the place where we give and we receive. They're sensorially really sensitive. And they have all of these intricate nerves, right, that allow us to make fine, like when we think of handwriting and the tiny movement, there's fine motor skills that we hear, and so it's really precise. But they're maybe exhausted, and now we're washing them more, we're sanitizing them more. You might feel some brittle feelings in your fingertips and nails. So if you have any hand cream nearby, which I do, we're going to start with that with a little bit of breathing. So breathe in, sit up tall, relax shoulders down, and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Relax the shoulders. Keep the length in the spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. If there's any noise or distraction, lawnmower, you can pay attention to that just for the moment to notice it, and then you can let it go, coming back to the present. So if you have cream, this is just a chance to give your hands a little bit of love, and even the wrists and the carpal tunnel. So I've been feeling a bit more tension in my hands. I've been waking up with some tightness in my hands, and they're doing a lot. So here, take the hands, you're rubbing some lotion, continue to breathe fully. And we'll start with a simple roll of the wrists. So you can bring the fronts of your hands together like so. If you're crunching at the shoulders, remember to soften down. And then you can rotate at the wrists. So you're flipping them over. So rotating upward gently and then rotating down. If that feels confusing, you're basically doing this with the wrists and the hands, just touching each other. So it creates a little bit of tension in a productive way. If it feels injurious, then just do this. And we're going to switch the direction now. Continue to breathe. So you'll feel some of the muscles in the back and the sides working, the intercostal. So you're sitting up tall. In this, the spinal erector muscles, right, to keep us lifted. As you're moving the opposite way. Good. Now take the hands, and it's really nice along your thighs, or if you have in front of you like the armrest of a couch or a sofa, you can put your hands against them. But if you have your thighs available, you can bring your hands to that and rest them onto the thighs. So you're pressing the palms open. This is basically what you're doing, is this action. So you should feel some space. Breathe into that space. It should feel good. If it feels like too much, then just soften how much you're pressing down. Breathing in. Let's show you this way so you can see. Breathing out. Relax shoulders. Breathe in. And breathe out. Oh, so you get to practice this with me with the lawnmowers. Breathe in. And breathe out. Then just shake out the wrists and the hands, and each finger, one by one, you can, especially with some cream, it helps, but you can just actually like massage out, little squeeze, creating a tension release through the fingertips. Some connect the fingers to each of the elements. This is a more modern adaptation within yoga. It doesn't mean it's not yoga. It's just more modern from the base teachings of yoga. And I have actually a finger, which some of you know. See, it's a little crooked. It was always a little crooked, and then it broke, and it healed even more crooked, and I feel it. I have a little tendonitis, a little arthritis, so I can give it a little extra love. And if you have any tension, you can do that for you too. So practicing with the sound of this, I suppose, is something that is part of today. And we can continue to rest in our center. Let's come onto the hands and knees, and we'll actually open through the wrists in this way as well. So I'm just going to show in this way. So you're going to bring the knees under the hips, and you're going to rotate the wrists away from you. so that the fingertips face toward you. If that feels like too much, the closer that your knees are toward your wrists allows you more control over what's happening in the wrists and without as much pressure. So you can lighten up on the pressure. But here's a space to be able to relax into the stretch, breathing in and breathing out. Breathe in and breathe out. Good. Relax and shake out the wrists as well. And then you can stay on your hands and knees like so. So I'm going to actually now bring this up so you can see me. And this is really the true practice of yoga, right? Is that our environments may not always offer us a perfection of space, of quiet. It's nice if you can find it and offer yourself that. But sometimes you may have traffic around you, people around you, things happening, going wrong. And this is a chance to say, this happens sometimes, but it doesn't mean that I have to give up and walk out. You can still stay. You can still do your practice as much as possible while being aware if you need to. So come to your hands and knees. Breathe in, arch the spine. Breathe out, round the back. Breathe in, lift through the spine. Breathe out, round the back. And breathe in, lift through the heart. Breathe out, round the back. This time you can send your seat all the way to your heels in a child's pose, so relax. The arms are extended out in front of you, resting onto the floor. And then roll to sit upright, softening the shoulders down. Crossing the legs the opposite way. See if you can relax the jaw apart, so the teeth are apart. Open, close the jaw. And sometimes a nice practice with this is to match sometimes the vibration of the environment. So you can take a little breath into the mouth. First, fill the mouth with air, so breathing in. That space can actually massage through the cheeks, so you'll feel some tension release. And let it go. Breathe in, fill. Breathe out. Soften at the jaw. So you're really letting go of any clenching, right? When we hear vibration, we might be tempted to crunch up, but we stay rested and relaxed. Breathe in. And breathe out. You can stick out the tongue, you can relax with the hands again. And we can also take a breath where we flutter the lips, and this also releases the tension. So like the hands being really intricate and precise in what they offer us, so do the lips. There's a lot of sensory motor action that happens within the lips for us to talk, for us to speak, for us to eat, for us to kiss, for all of these things. So letting it go out of the mouth as you breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Maybe smiling. So even with kids, right, this is something we can do. And something is around us that's frustrating us. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And we can consider the noise cancellation in this process when we see all of these things that happen. I hope that these practices help you. And I hope that you can enjoy the rest of your day. Now is space to sit in silence if you'd like.